Hey everyone, the last Shoegazer here with a movie review of Ginger Snaps. As many of you guys know, I am a massive werewolf movie fan, and while I have a lot of werewolf movies in my collection, this is one that slipped me by for a good while. I recently picked this collector's edition up from Scream Factory about 2 weeks ago at an FYE at a really, really great price. I got it as a part of kind of like a three movie deal where you got two used and you got the third for $1, and this one ended up being $1. So I really lucked out and got some great used stuff from a collector that took really good care of his stuff. But yeah, that aside, I checked this out for the first couple nights ago, and guys, I was completely blown away and riveted by this film. I really wish I would have seen this years ago because after watching some of the special features, a really great documentary with some good interviews, I got a lot of background on the production, and they started filming this around 1995 and kind of wrapped things up in 99, and then this came out in 2000. This is the 2014 Scream Factory treatment of it, which I think is just awesome. The picture looks great. So if you guys are a fan of werewolf films, maybe you haven't seen this one, or maybe you just, would like to upgrade, I would highly recommend searching this out. Now, unless you can find a copy like on eBay, you might be able to get one with a slip cover, but otherwise you could probably get it on Amazon for a pretty good price without the slip. But yeah, it has a really great small town atmosphere to it. A lot of really intense, gory scenes mixed throughout. It kind of made me think a little bit of Silver Bullet. There's a park scene that kind of was a little bit reminiscent of Brady whenever he got attacked, and we kind of saw him, well, what was left of him, laying under the gazebo there when his dad saw his body when the cop pulled back the covering there. But yeah, this was just completely surprising to me. The werewolf makeup, everything there was practical. They used animatronics. For the different movements, they actually had an actor wearing a rubber suit there that they kind of doctored up. And they purposefully went for a completely different werewolf look, with minimal hair, almost like an albino kind of look, so it would stand out in the darkness, which I thought was really, really cool and very original. So not only was the werewolf original, but the story was as well. I'm not going to get too much into that, but if you guys have seen this, you know what I'm talking about. Not only are we kind of keeping track of the schedule of the full moon and the phases of the moon, but we're keeping track of something else that's happening to Ginger in her life as a young lady, and there's just nonstop connections there, which at first when I noticed they were kind of throwing that into the story, it was a little off-putting, and I thought, man, I hope this doesn't make it any less enjoyable or make it weird. But honestly, it really made the story a lot more unique and original, in my opinion. So thumbs up to the writers. I thought this was just a really really great attempt at switching things up a little bit. We're not really seeing typical transformations here with Ginger. Bridget's watching her sister slowly transform into the beast, that she's bound to turn into, and that she's kind of slowly cursing others to turn into. as she's kind of feeling her primal instincts kind of building up within her. But yeah, there's just a lot of really great elements at play here, story-wise, visually. Everything is just really great with the Blu-ray transfer. The scenes out in the woods, the first attack totally made me think of An American Werewolf in London. As as suddenly as it happened. And also the werewolf itself. Now, the werewolf in An American Werewolf in London was more of a classic werewolf, with more hair, and it looked a little bit more of like the color that you would kind of picture a werewolf. Definitely gray. But like I said, this one, it just had minimal hair. Right around where they had to make the attachment of the head fit over the actor, they had trouble masking the zipper attachment, so that's the only place on the whole body of the werewolf that you're going to see too much hair. Otherwise, it's just kind of bare and just wet and kind of sickly looking. But the movements, just the look of the body, walking on all fours instead of just on, the hind legs, as we see in Silver Bullet and Bad Moon, The Howling, some great werewolf movies that are some of my favorites. We're kind of back to the look of An American Werewolf in London. So it takes all of what I love of that film. Now a lot of that stands on its own because it is, it's an iconic, classic werewolf film. Not much is ever going to come close to that, but enough of this did to make me really happy about it. But it kept that small town feel, and it also tied in not only an original story, but a lot of what reminded me of my childhood and my friends and different stages that we were going through, kind of the grunge era. They were wearing baggy clothes here, and just some of their jewelry, the school atmosphere, everything looked very 90s, which kind of took me right back to school. So it definitely has a nice nostalgic, small town, small school kind of feel to it. Has a Halloween aspect to it. I love that they kind of tied that in, which really adds to the overall experience and makes it a lot more well-rounded, because what horror fan's not into a little Halloween in their movies, especially a werewolf film with an awesome werewolf. Very minimal, if any, CGI effects here. I think everything, based on my understanding and just kind of watching the special features and the interviews, the making of, everything just screamed practical. Especially the werewolf suit. The finale, the final scene is just heartbreaking. It's tragic. I'm not going to talk about that, but it will leave you breathless with what you see. And with the werewolf and the sisters there, their final scene together. And that's actually the last scene that they filmed for this movie. So they ended on a really great, memorable, but very sad note. But I thought it all kind of came to a close beautifully, like I said, tragically as well. So, yeah, I give this an easy 9.5 out of 10. This is definitely going to take a higher spot in an updated werewolf ranking. I did a top 5 a couple of months ago. And I believe I had Wolf with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer at the number 5 slot, but I think this might actually edge that one out. And Bad Moon is probably going to be neck and neck with Wolf at this point, because I really enjoyed that one too. I'm kind of new to that film as well. And like I said, there's some similarities between this one and that one, with kind of the 90s feel. So it's dark, it's moody, broody, grungy, mixed with tragedy and intensity. Really, really horrific scenes with the werewolf. Some are minimal, that just leave you wanting more, and there's one at the end that is extremely elongated and kept me at the edge of my seat the whole time, to the final bite. So yeah, like I said, 9.5 out of 10, easy for me. You know, the rewatch factor is definitely there, and this has immediately become one of my top werewolf films. So thanks for watching, guys. Share your thoughts on Ginger Snaps. Yep, I really, really enjoyed it, and I think you will too. Hope you guys are doing well, and beware of the moon.